Okay. Hello, everyone. I think we are live, and we can start with this panel. My name is Katarina Pajur-Aničić. I'm assistant professor and head of student support and career development. Hello, everyone. Okay, now I see myself on this screen, so I guess that we are live, and we can start with this panel. My name is Katarina Pajur-Aničić. I will be moderating this panel discussion titled Unleashing Tech Talent, Empowering Early Career Development and Fostering Future Innovation. And today I have a pleasure to greet really 5 respectable panelists here who are, I will start with ladies. Diana Mudrinić, CEO from Trokut, from Šibenik Entrepreneur Center. So hi, Diana. Nice to have you here today. Then we have Nevena Janković-Borozan, Startup Program Coordinator from Science Technology Park, Belgrade. Hi, Nevena. Full Professor Nina Begičević-Ređep from University of Zagreb, Faculty of Organization and Informatics. Hello, hi, Nina. Then Professor Zoran Sušanj from Department of Psychology, University of Rijeka. Hi, Zoran. And Mr. Mladen Pejković, Senior Executive Director, Transformation ICT at Atlantic Group, and President of Faculty of Engineering, Electrical Engineering Alumni. So good afternoon to all of you. And I think it's a great time for panel. I hope you all had your morning cup of coffee, and it's still not lunchtime. So it's really good time for this panel discussion on the interesting topic. The goal of this panel discussion is to foster in-depth discussion on student early career development, which start already within formal education, within higher education institutions, and continue in the tech industry. And we are going to addressing the graceful talents and support provided by educational institutions, employers, which we have here. So we have representative of both higher education institutions and employers here. For the beginning, before I give a word to the panelists, I would just like to give a short introduction. When we take a look to the reports at the level of European Union, there are basically 2 types of reports when it's about the young talents. One of them showing the persistent labor shortages in many areas, especially in ICT. So there is insufficient supply of workers with highly specialist skills. For example, one of the latest reports showing that is the Employment and Social Development in Europe report from 2023. On the other hand, we have reports that are titled as example, Europe needs high-tech talents, which is basically the same. But on the one hand, we are talking about the lack of highly skilled young people in IT, in tech. And on the other hand, we are talking about the need for tech talents. And some statistics shows that more than 50% of the companies at the EU level basically had difficulties recruiting an ICT specialist in the latest years. So that's the basis for our discussion. And now I would like to give a word to the panelists. I would first kindly ask Diana Mudrinić from Trokut to share her, let's say, aspirations, concerns, and maybe some suggestions related to the career development in tech industry. So according to your view, what is the current situation and what are the main challenges? And I would just like to emphasize that we are going to talk about challenges today, but I would like this discussion to be focused on the possible solutions. So not seeing those challenges that we have in tech industry and market as problems, but as a potential for future innovation and career development of young talents. So Diana, as we heard, you are from Trokut Šibenik, which is a place for co-working and office space, but as well for education and reskilling and strengthening entrepreneurial IT community. Okay, so please, can you share our first thoughts with us?
Of course, thank you, Katarina, and a warm welcome to everyone, and thank you to the organizers for doing this amazing conference with such interesting topics for these 3 days. I like your approach, Katarina, to not address it necessarily as an issue, as a problem, but rather what kind of a solution can we offer? Trecut Šibenik opened its door during the pandemic year in 2020, and it was the first of this type of environment, of this type of business, so to say, in the Šibenik area. So we had multiple challenges. We had the pandemic challenge, and we also had the challenge of opening up to the, I wouldn't say just necessarily IT community in Šibenik, but just the general entrepreneurial community. And while opening up, we tried to identify what are all the potential issues and challenges that businesses have here. We had youth unemployment rates that were going up as a result of the pandemic, since obviously Šibenik was primarily a tourist region. Now that is slowly changing. It has still the tourist aspect, but it's not the sole focus. So what we tried to do, we spoke to different businesses here to see what are their issues, what do the young people have here. We also spoke to high educational institutions, so the Polytechnic of Šibenik here, and we tried to see with all of these stakeholders, what can we do as a joint solution? And one of the things that we did is basically our reskilling academy. So what we did is we combined unemployed youth for a 6 months long program for full stack developers or for data science. Those are our two main cohorts that we have, but we developed it jointly with the businesses. So the businesses helped us develop the syllabus. So we know that it applies to young people understanding business processes, why is storytelling important for decision makers, and all of these aspects that sometimes, get left behind. But at the same time, we work closely with professors and with professors from the Polytechnic to make this program unique. What is also specific about it is that if it's 6 months, the last third of the program, they have internships with the companies that need these people. So the employment rate of the program is basically 80% of them get hired. Why I'm mentioning this is because I recently spoke to Grčić from the Office for our Digital Society, and we were speaking, and Croatia by the year 2030 needs to have 100,000 employed people in the IT department. We're now barely at 50,000. So we need to educate 50,000 people to be able to handle these new IT jobs. And this is definitely a challenge, but I think it's really an opportunity. And that's why I really like how you mentioned that we need to see what are different possibilities that we can jointly work together. I always think that Croatia is too small to not work together in these projects. We really need to combine, and these panels are such a great forum for that, to connect together and to see, okay, what are you doing? What are we doing? And how can we better address this? But the key is to talk to all of these stakeholders and to see what is the potential there. What is the potential to come up with a different solution that might not already be on the market? I mean, I can go on and on about this topic, but
okay, thank you, Diana, for sharing your initial thoughts. What is interesting for me that you mentioned this regional part, which is as well important, because, for example, you are from Šibenik and we have different areas. And that's what I would like to hear from Nevena. So Nevena, you are from the Belgrade, there is, let's say, broader community and higher education institutions that are in the field. So how is the situation at your side? You are as well supporting startup and growing tech companies in your daily business.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah.
I'm from Science Technology Park Belgrade. We are supporting tech companies, innovative tech companies. From one side, there are startups at different stages, from super early stage to the scale-up stage. And from the other side, here are also growing companies and R&D centers of foreign companies. So currently, we are having around 200 companies in the network. And some of them, like 80 of them, are physically stated in our premises. So we are working with them on a daily basis, and we have access to the challenges that they are sharing. And what's common for different type of companies that we see is definitely lack of the tech talent. And like the main challenge is for onboarding, I think onboarding a new tech talent in the companies, because now we see like different approaches of different generations in the teams, because now is the moment where we have like 3 to 4 different generations in teams, and that's something that's quite challenging. From one side, the whole region, like the region in our countries that we face now, is having like quite strong tech talent, but there is a lack of like the number of tech talent that we have. If we compare tech talent in the region and the tech talent, for example, in UK or Spain and France, we have really strong tech talent, and that's definitely something that is potential of the region, and that we can use in our competitive advantage. On the other side, what we also see here, because I would like to talk today from the perspective of entrepreneurship and starting your own company. So what we also see here is the lack of a business knowledge. So I would like to emphasize this part also, because I mean, technology is something that we are developing quite good, but on the other side, when we have to go to the market and to commercialize new ideas, that this is something that we have a gap. And that's something that we see. And what I would like also to mention is that what's really important to have multidisciplinary teams and to bring different backgrounds at the table, and then to let like different perspectives to build businesses and different things. So tech is really like important topic, but on the other side, there is a broader picture to that.
Okay, thank you, Nevena. So here we have heard two a bit different approaches. You mentioned that you're working mostly with tech companies first, yeah? And Diana, in your case, there was the Reskilling Academy for, if I understood well, people, talents, potential talents who are not coming from tech companies, but young talent who want to pursue career in IT.
Yes. So what we aimed at is, so we have programs for people who are already in IT and they need to, I don't know, introduce themselves. For instance, that was the case with ChatGPT. But what our reskilling is for people who don't have an IT background. So we're talking about, you know, a single mom with 2 kids who wants a chance for a better life, or simply always had interest in IT, but never got a chance for education, and really different background stories. But I would say 80% of the people who attend our academy don't have an IT background.
Okay.
Within our within Trokut, we have 3 different complexes. So Trokut is mainly IT, and we also have maritime, so for a fisherman and for different maritime topics, and also production halls. And I'm mentioning this is because I like to draw a parallel that even the maritime, even the fishermen are thinking about using technology to identify all the fish that is being caught, so there's no gray market, or in the production processes, they're also using technology, and they also need IT specialists. So I think the IT specialist kind of slowly going through every type of businesses today.
Yeah, okay. And we have different pools. So we have from tech industry and persons who are not in ICT industry themselves. Okay, thank you for now, Diana and Nevena. Now I would like to ask Mr. Pejković to join the discussion. So Mr. Pejković, you have really rich experience in IT industry at the highest positions and in international regional telecom industry as well. I would like to hear your experience and your perspectives with working with young talents and the challenges that you see in the last few years.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting. And I'd like to reflect a little bit on your initial question and on the previous speakers. Truly, I see the lack of necessary talent. And if we just check the statistical figures, we are facing multiple issues. One is a lack of talent for the existing labor force that we have. Secondly, if you read relevant analysis of transformation that is going to happen in the economy until 2030, we speak about For Croatia, McKinsey estimates between 150 and 200,000 jobs that needs to be transformed of the existing jobs. So this is where Diana and her effort are really taking place, and we should be thankful for that. But nevertheless, there is no effort, neither what Nevena is mentioning, existing belief that we regionally are really strong on talents, that is going to take much of relief for the fact that we are facing multiple issues on the birth rate side and on talent import-export side. So we are lacking the talent at the moment. The statistics tell us that in Croatian high schools, we are going to expect 20% less high school graduates than 10 years ago coming into our universities. On top of that, just as a member of EU country, Croatia is receiving 15 million euros for something which is called mobility program, and it goes very well with Bologna concept, which means that for 15 million euros, we are motivating our talents to join international universities. We are attracting international talents to Croatia with the budget of 29,000 euros. So the issue that I definitely can expect as a member of the economy, that coming to our doors, we are going to receive less and less in comparison to today, talents coming out of university with the ever increasing demand. What I'm lobbying for on the national level, which I like to share with the other colleagues and representatives of other societies in the neighborhood, I believe that we definitely need the national program for attracting of international students to Croatia. What we see is the high conversion rate of such students to stay in the local economy and to contribute with the jobs of the extremely, not extremely, but with a lot of value add. Today, Croatia is importing labor force, which is 99.8% uneducated labor force for the jobs which are not creating a lot of value add in comparison to the jobs that we can create with the structured international program for the attracting of the students to Croatian universities. If any of the countries in the region would develop such program, we would, I believe, be happy to copy it with the pride. The issue that I'd like to share as more as a tip for our young colleagues in such a lack of talents, what we in economy are doing, we are trying to attract them with all possible goodies. We are trying to create a perception that coming to labor market as early as possible, it's going to create a huge competitive advantage for such students. I'm not 100% convinced. Speaking about universities, up here from my window, I have a perspective to the college which has 4 scientists on the Stanford latest top quoted scientists of the world list. 2% most quoted scientists in the world are working here in the building that I see from my window. What I'm trying to say is that it would be, in my opinion, for the biggest of advantage for the young colleague to stay in school as long as possible. Not to be a dropout, because maybe some of them could be Steve Jobs. But for most majority of us regular people, degree is good. And knowledge that you get in the university is going to be useful for the rest of your career. Especially what I'm trying to point out, I believe in the basic knowledge. So obviously, we are trying to convert universities with a lot of reasoning behind it into the most practical knowledge in the higher years of the education. But nevertheless, with the basic knowledge, we are definitely accepting the people which are trained in their analytical thinking, in problem solving, in complexity management, that we can then in the regular economical environment convert into the useful experts for the jobs that are going to be much different 10 years from now that they are today. So my message to them is stay in school, get a good degree, don't answer to every invitation to join the labor of coders that are doing the so-called cool jobs, which anyway are going to be replaced by the artificial intelligence few years from now. Get your knowledge, get your degree, and you're going to create much bigger contribution to the economy and to your career if you are not converting your career into the labor too early. Later on, when you approach 30, 35 years of age, this additional knowledge that you get in school is going to present the real value rate for your career. I'm maybe saying something which is against the basic interest of the economy, because everybody of us would definitely like to get young talents as early as possible. But we shall not think for the quick solutions. We shall think about the long-lasting solutions that are bringing additional value to the overall economy, not only to the fire on the platform that is today, maybe for some particular jobs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pejković. And you said two things that I believe that Professor Begićević Recep would sign for it. One of them is the internationalization and attracting foreign students to Croatia. And the other one is that we should support actually our students to stay in universities, I would say in higher education institution, and to finish it, because as you said, that basic knowledge is really, really important.
Not only to finish it, but to take the most out of it.
To take it, yeah, definitely, to get some knowledge. And I would now like to ask Nina. So Nina, you have really rich experience in higher education institution in management. So you were in the management board for more than 12 years and last 4 years as a dean of the Faculty of Organization and Informatics. So from your perspective, I'm sure that you can reflect to what Mr. Pejković said and share what higher education institutions can do regarding this issue of less students, internationalization, and the fact that today we have actually a situation that students can get employed without a degree. For example, at Faculty of Organization and Informatics this week, we have Career Week with around 60 companies who are attracting students, and most of them can get a job already at undergraduate level. So Nina, can you please reflect on this?
Thank you. You have already answered
no
question, but okay, thank you for inviting me. I agree with Nevena, Diana, and definitely with Mladen. I think that it is very important to get this basic knowledge, especially in the first 2 years of undergraduate or graduate level of study program. But I also think that we can do both. I think it's very important to give this basic knowledge to our students, but also to change the paradigm of learning and teaching, and also to use some kind of innovative concepts of teaching and learning as work-based learning, project-based learning, especially in a 3rd year of undergraduate level of study program. I think that this is important because we can support them in collecting this basic knowledge, but also experience, and in working with companies and future employers, and also to support our students in career development. I think that working in a real problem, how to solve the real problem, how to connect with companies, how to develop problem-solving skills and project-based learning skills for our students is very important. So I think that it is crucial to have some kind of center for career development and connection with future employers, and also to have a good cooperation with IT companies, because they can exchange their knowledge and experience with our students. So my opinion is that 1st and 2nd year of undergraduate study program, it's important for basic knowledge. And then 3rd year, I think it is important to have this kind of cooperation with IT companies, companies, because the transfer of knowledge and experience between companies and IT experts and our students is very important for their future career, and also for their level of IT knowledge and experience. And by using this kind of approach as project-based learning and, for example, work-based learning and mentorship of professors and also IT experts in this work-based learning and project-based learning approach is very useful for collecting and for increasing the skills of critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, and this is the most important, I think, for their future career.
Thank you, Nina. I would just kindly ask the production if we have the results to the several pools we have provided before, so we can a little bit more discuss. And when we are waiting for the answers that we get from the audience, I would like Professor Sushan to reflect what we heard from Professor Begicevic Recep. So Professor Sushan, you are as well actively involved in the work of Career Center at the university level, and your expertise is in organizational psychology. So how you can reflect what we have heard from previous panelists?
Yes, thank you, Katarina, and I'm also glad to be a part of this panel. So just to say, maybe a little bit critically, but I would say that universities, higher education institutions, 10 years ago, we didn't take responsibility for the career of our students. We have the responsibility to give them knowledge, basic knowledge, and this is all what we have to do. But I think that now universities are really thinking and taking that responsibility to prepare young people for their career, not only in tech industry, in this ICT sector and so on, but I would say in all areas that we are covering with our study programs. Maybe just two examples from University of Rijeka that I'm personally involved for some years. First is University Counseling Center. Katarina mentioned that we start with psychological counseling, but we also have the other two units. One is for the students with disabilities, and Career Office, which is the youngest unit of our student counseling center at the University of Rijeka. So in last 7-8 years, we start to think how to empower students to better, I don't know, manage their career and start to think about the career during the study program. So we offer career guidance and counseling for students also in bachelor, but in master degree. But I think that maybe we have, according to what Mladen said before, think also about students at the post-master level, especially PhD students. And the other example that I want to share with you, University of Rijeka is part of a network of different European universities, 10 of them, which is called UFE. It means Young Universities for the Future of Europe. And one of the programs, one of the projects that we are dealing with, and I'm involved in it, is how we deal with doctoral study programs. And we try to make doctoral programs at the whole UFE universities, whole UFE network, with more transferable skills. And for example, we are trying to have a UFE model of doctoral study program, which is in the program, it is involved education for open entrepreneurship, for not only for open science, but open entrepreneurship, open innovativeness. So we are becoming aware that we have to but also do some other things. For example, one member of the committee for PhD student is from non-academic sector. As you know, in Croatia, most of the PhD students are going to have a career in academic sector. But those things are also slowly, but they are changing. We are preparing PhD students to go to the industry now, and we are aware of this. So we in that UFE doctoral program, we plan to have a non-academic mentor besides your scientific mentor, to give opportunity for career counseling, career guidance for each and every PhD students, but also some very concrete courses on open entrepreneurship. Just as I would say, examples of becoming aware as the university that we have to deal with this to empower our students for their career.
Their career. Okay. Thank you,
Katarina,
Zoran.
Katarina, could I add something?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay. I think that it is very important to mention this multidisciplinary approach. I think that Nevena mentioned this. I think it is very important to have this multidisciplinary approach in our study programs, but also in way of teaching and learning, because it is a lack of business knowledge and skills right now. Okay, information technology is very important, but also business skills and combination of business skills and also IT skills and tech skills is the most important combination for our students. And I also wanted to mention, you mentioned also that we are one of the center at Faculty of Organization and Informatics, Center for Career Development, and right now it is one of 40 examples of good practice in Europe. It was established more than 10 years ago, and right now at our faculty, right now we have a career week, and more than 60 companies they are presenting to our students, but not only with the main objective to employ our students, but also to teach them, to transfer knowledge, to transfer experience, because the tech industry is constantly evolving and offering new opportunities. And for academic area, it's important to have this collaboration with our tech industry and to transfer the knowledge and experience to our students. And that's the reason why I put focus on this work-based learning, because our students working on a real problem, and we have like mentors, as a professor or assistant, and also IT expert from the company. And after this basic knowledge, they need to use this basic knowledge to solve some kind of problem or to prepare some of the project in teams. So this is also crucial because they are working on some presentation skill, communication skills, and also working in teams to solve the problem.
Thank you both, Nina and Zoran. In the meantime, we get the results of the polls. And I would like to emphasize that 67% of participants here at this panel stated that they had internship as a part of their study program. So that's let's say a good number of students who had the opportunity to collaborate with the companies as a part of their regular study. And as well, 33% had the opportunity to participate in work-based learning projects in collaboration with employers. But what is interesting here that none of the participants actually stated that they had a chance to get the career advices, how to write CV, motivational letter, prepare for the job interviews, or participated at different career fairs. So we heard that several institutions have their career centers, but in Croatia, they are still not so developed, let's say, as abroad. And definitely that's the one area where we can do improvement. And the other thing I would like to comment from the polls and then ask my panelists for their comments on this. 86% of our participants sees themselves being self-employed in future, and only 14% sees them working for a more traditional job. And for them, the most challenging when finding suitable job for them is remote work for 40% of our attendees today. So maybe Mr. Pejković, how do you see this? Can you give some comment on this? This remote work, I mean, you are working as well in a large company, and how did it change things with this after COVID period and this remote work, as we can see that most young people are striving for that kind of work and different type of organizational culture than, let's say, a few years ago?
The results are expected, in my opinion, completely unrealistic. Regarding the development of young tech talent, to aim for the remote, isolated job, it's almost a perfect recipe for disaster.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask.
I cannot think of better recipe for disaster in career.
Okay.
Despite all the efforts of Mr. Sušan and Mrs. Begičević, it's probably not 100% possible. Neither we expect that, nor it's 100% possible that we are getting fully ready, plug-and-play talents to work on practical jobs. We need
that was my question. Are young talents and people who are coming from the university actually ready for this kind of work?
They are not, and they shall not be.
Their generic skills are important.
If I have to choose between brilliant engineer, get all the technical skills, who got all the technical skills, and super proficient business guy who doesn't have technical skills, but we are here talking about employment of the technical talent. We are not speaking about employment of future CEO. Some of them will become future CEO. But we are here first in first stage of the career, they need to have skills. The skills are not 100% to be acquired in the university, but also in the collaborative work in the organization. There's huge amount of skills that you need to get in a collaborative work in the organization. Regarding the remote work efforts, we have now measurements. 90% of projects, complicated projects that we have started during the lockdown, have either huge delay, or they missed the budget, or they didn't fulfill the scope. 90% of the projects that we started after the lockdown in a collaborative environment within the organization acquired all three main categories. They are on time, they are on budget, and they fulfill the scope. So maybe this is not a relevant statistical sample, but I guess there is something to it. So the collaborative work, co-creation to be done, like Rolling Stones were recorded these songs during the lockdown, so everybody played in their own house, thousands of miles away. If you compare it with their own albums, make your own conclusions. Collaboration does not work 100% if you are remote. So you see two dangers. They are not going to get sufficient skills, and companies are not going to get creativity. I'm not saying that in the long run, we shall not count on the different environment where there's a lot of self-employment will happen and a lot of companies need to rely on the remote freelancers. We are already getting ready ourselves for that. But for my advice to those guys, get yourself a job in a regular company, get regular skills, develop them, and then think about becoming a freelancer that's going to work like super player international.
I would like students to hear you, because we really have challenge with students. When I talk with our students, their first question is, when they're thinking about their future job or internship, is it possible to do it remote? And then we start the question, why you want to work remote, and try to explain them.
It is possible.
possible, but not for the entire generation. They really
It is
need to
possible,
have
but you are not
skills
going to develop your career as
Yeah.
much as you can.
as you can. Okay, Professor Sushan wanted to say something, and then Diana.
Yeah, just a few
Miss
numbers.
Mudrinic.
Just a few numbers from survey
Research.
research that we each and every year do in University of Rijeka with final year of master study, and we always ask our students before they are leaving university, do you see yourself as self-employed? Each and every year, last 5 years, we got the answer. 75% said yes. But we also compared that to statistics. How many students, alumni, really make their own startup? And it is more or less 2 to 3% the best. Just few numbers to according to our pool. It is very interesting that students are thinking that they maybe can consider self-employment as a career choice, but later on it is not happening. It is not what is happening. Okay.
Yeah, maybe they're not have feeling about what it means to be entrepreneur in a real world at the
but
at the market.
Also I agree with Mladen. Maybe you have to I don't know English word, ispeč zanat in some company, and later on to become self-employed.
Okay.
I would just like to jump in shortly, if it's possible, because there are many things that I would like to add, but I will focus on this one specifically. What Zoran said, it's totally true, and I wanted to mention that the statistics are saying different, but it's good to see that people are now thinking about that as an option, and that's like a positive direction. But on the other side, there are many programs that are supporting young entrepreneurs, and when I say young, it doesn't mean young by age, but young by business, like entrepreneurship, like experience. And one of them is our Raising Stars Accelerator, where you get intensive mentorship and funding just for your team. So you do not have to have product, you do not have to have revenue, you just have to have like a motivated and committed team to then start a company. And I know that there are similar initiatives in Croatia, and this is something that is quite important for young people. And on the other side, because I've seen many startups from abroad, I would like to send a message to like regional startup teams. We are at the same level as companies in UK, in Europe, even in US. So we do not have any reason to think that we are at the lower position when it comes to creating new companies from this part. Because every time when I get Serbian companies abroad to some startup competitions and things like that, the main thing that they see there is that they are quite good as their colleagues from abroad. And this is something that we should have in mind, and that we have like a good position to create startups and tech companies from here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jankovic-Borazan, and Ms. Mudrinic wanted to say something.
Yes, thank you. I think this poll is actually quite interesting. I think, and I agree with both Mladen and Zoran and Nevena. There are many areas that are increasing in the levels of self-employment, but I would actually make a distinction in self-employment between people who want to start a startup. So they have some kind of a product that they want to develop, and incubators. I mean, in Trokut, we have freelancers, startups, nomads, all types of people. And there's a difference of people who are doing a job that already exists, some type of agency work or different types of stuff, and they want to be self-employed. So I think there's a distinction in the type of self-employment that people are doing. And the question is, why is this actually happening? Why is there a rise in self-employment? Is the workforce that we used to know, and my generations before me, is it changing so tremendously that people want to be self-employed and then be able to choose their own clients, while simultaneously, I think they undermined the hard work it takes to earn your monthly salary and to pay for your utilities and so on. And then again, I agree with Mladen, being remote and isolated, it doesn't work. No man's an island. So if there are people listening to this, and if you do want to go, become self-employed, kudos to you, go for it. But also, don't stay in your apartment. Half of our clients are people who used to work in their apartments, but came to co-working places so they can meet other people, so they can talk joint ideas and projects. And the thing is, you have to go to events, you have to go to panels, conferences, meetups, go to universities, go see what's happening out there, be part of the community. If you decide not to do the traditional job and learn some of the skills you should learn at the beginning of your career, use these kind of platforms to learn these skills, to connect with people, and maybe not make the same mistakes as your previous people did. And finally, meet some new people and make some awesome connections for something new. That would be some kind of a message for the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So it's important for the young people who want to do their own business to actually network, the networking, and to find support in the centers like, for example, Trokut, or for example, the center where Nevena works. And we have one question in the pool related to actually, are the young people familiar with what is startup? I don't know if you see the poll, but Nevena, I think that was your question. Maybe you can comment a bit. 20% of attendees said that it's newly established small company. 20% think that it's technology company with lack of funding. 20% says it's invention, and 40% it's scalable company with undefined business model. So can you just a bit comment this and maybe give a few things that the young people who want to run the business can get from science technology parks like the one you are working in?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, these answers are quite expected, and this is something that is related to the previous part that Diana mentioned. She mentioned this part of our young people aware what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and that this is something that is quite important. But I would like to here just make a distinction from two parts. I think that the trend among young people is that they do not want to work for the corporates who are so big and where they have just like a small part in the chain, where they do not have opportunity to see the impact of their work. So maybe that's also something that people should like have in mind. Working for smaller companies, either traditional or startup companies, it doesn't matter. There are like many opportunities in the smaller teams, and what will make difference in the future, and what is making difference right now, is definitely the corporate and the company's culture. And something that we see right now, which is related to the remote work as well, is when you're remote and when you do not have opportunity to meet people, company values is something that's making a difference. And from this perspective of the poll and the answers, I would just like to send like again a message to the people who are right here with us. Startups are definitely scalable companies with undefined business model. And why is this important? This is important because these companies are having a huge vision to change certain industries and to scale very fast. And this is the main difference between startups and like newly established companies who are more small or a bit bigger or whatever. So from this part, I would like to encourage people to think about ideas and businesses that can make an impact on the global level, because that's something that startups do. For example, like Facebook is a startup. They totally changed the way how we are communicating. Uber also. So those are things that are changing the daily life that we are having, and it should not be I mean, it should be something that is innovative and that's new, but it doesn't have to be like Elon Musk going to the Mars. So just think about different problems that you see in your surroundings, and there will be some ideas that you can meet with your business idea actually.
Okay, thank you, Nevena. And now question for our higher education institution representative. To which extent should higher education institutions support startup initiatives and entrepreneurial initiatives of students? And then I would like Mr. Pejković to join as well and to set how you can see the role of alumni in that process, and how should alumni support actually their faculty and young students in their future career. So what's the connections and what's important in that relationship? I don't know, maybe Nina, we would like to start.
Okay, we started at our Faculty of Organization and Informatics University of Zagreb, like I think 9 years ago, with a startup at FOI program. And the initiative was motivated from the students, because our students came to our management board and they asked us if we can support them in development of their ideas. And that was the reason why we became co-owners of the technology park in Varaždin. But also we started with this program startup at Faculty of Organization and Informatics. Right now we are preparing one project titled Center for Pre-Incubation in Smart Industry. And the reason why we are doing that is because there are a lot of students with ideas, and we are doing a lot of activities and a lot of projects with the same goal, with the same objective, but we don't have some kind of framework for supporting them in these activities. So right now we will start with this project, and we are establishing think tank of our experts and alumni. And we will try to support them in development of business skills, but also in development of their ideas. It will be like early stage of development, and we are calling this phase pre-incubation, because we think that this can be crucial for our students. And then after finishing this pre-incubation phase, early phase of development of their ideas, they can decide, and we can decide and support them in development of their ideas and entering the incubation phase. This project started because our students were the first step how to develop this idea and how to start with this project. And right now we are using our IT community to support them in development of this idea in the scope of our technology park, but also we are starting with this project of Center for Pre-Incubation, and you are all invited to become members and supporters of our project.
Okay, thank you, Nina. Just one, I've got just one interesting message from our production, that since you started talking about self-employment, some attendees changed their mind. Not 86% now want to be self-employed, but 78%. So Zoran, maybe you can comment on this and as well relate to the previous question if you want.
Yeah. Okay. These changes in the pool
expected.
is interesting, but I would say that it is, like Nevena said before, it is very good that we have students that they are thinking about self-employment. Yeah, because they see themselves, I would say, strong enough to go to that kind of career. So this is something. Just one remark. One of our research showed, experimental research, but in the real life, we compare in experimental study students who passed that entrepreneurship program, okay, and we have control group without education on entrepreneurship, and results show that the level of self-efficacy, I mean entrepreneurial self-efficacy, is falling down after the education. because they
Very good.
got a lot of more knowledge, so they are more able, they are empowered to be entrepreneurs, but they know that it is not so easy.
It is
after
hard.
the education, sometimes self-efficacy is going down, and we have to be aware of that. I will return to the HAES, I mean higher education institutions' responsibility for this. I would say, like Nina, you have more experience than in our university in career office and so on. But we also have Science Technology Park. We have a lot of good examples of internship programs with IT sector companies. For example, my career office is supporting and organizing that practical part of study program in Faculty of Informatics in University of Rijeka. But also I have to mention UNIRI alumni network. It is not easy to have alumni network for university, because we are all alumni of different faculties, you know. Last few years, we are doing a lot in that direction. So we have UNIRI alumni network. And for example, that UNIRI alumni network is one of the organizers, beside career office, of the whole next week. We have UNIRI career days. One of that days next week is job fair. We also have a lot of companies and so on. So UNIRI alumni are also engaging more and more in this, and I think it is positive signs.
Okay, thank you for starting that topic. That's what I wanted to hear from Mr. Pejković as well. You're the president of FAIR Alumni Association. How do you see, where do you see the how to say, where the alumni can help most to higher education institutions? And at the same time, I have to say that we are entering the last 3 minutes of our panel discussion. So I would kindly ask you as well, Mr. Pejković, for your last words and message to our attendees today.
To reflect on the ambition and eagerness of young people to make an impact. I fully support that, obviously. It's super to hear that they would like to make an impact, that they have courage to go entrepreneurial way. Just on the side of expectation management, as we see from the statistical historical data, 97% of us are just not cut out for that. So we are much better in the environment which has a steady procedures, and where we are with expertise and skills, we are again creating an impact. I don't want to discourage people to go entrepreneurial and start a way, but just that having in mind the social pressure through the social media can be huge, and we don't like to create an environment where those who don't feel themselves eventually as a successful entrepreneur, but good corporate people, feel like unsuccessful, because they are not. They're going to create a huge impact, and they're going to create a local economy, a local society in that way as well. On the alumni level, it's a no-brainer. So we like to help students to stay in school, not to get job if they cannot support themselves through the foundation, where we, with the donors, we'd like to provide material support for the students that cannot finance themselves throughout the schooling, throughout the education. We like to provide, and we are providing mentorship. We find it extremely useful, not only for the students, but even more for the young talents in the early days of career, where they are encountering huge issues, how to develop either on the expert level or on the managerial ladder. Tips and mentoring from the older, more experienced colleagues turn out to be what they need in that early phase. But obviously, as much as UNIRI is doing it, there we need to help in the connection hub between the university and the economy, which helps then the young talents to engage in the projects, to get closer in higher years of their education, get closer to the economy, get closer to the industry, we are creating and trying to create an environment of the better understanding between universities and the industry. After the transition of creation economy, when we move more into the service industry and tourism, some old connections between the industry and universities are broken. We are re-establishing the trust that universities can help industry in R&D, in new product development, to move from the service into the product industry, like Remax or like Infobip. They are selling products globally. For that, we can use the universities. So at the other side, universities have a tendency to think that the financing from the industry shall be sometimes almost like given. And we are trying to establish the belief and trust that it's going to happen, but it must be based on some clear economical interest. Industry is not financing universities based on quotas. It's only financing based on the real projects that are making the real difference.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your experience and thoughts. And I'm a bit sorry that we are coming to the end of this panel discussion, because we have a lot of topics still to be discussed. But I would kindly ask now Ms. Janković-Borazan for her final thoughts and message for the attendees.
Yeah, Mladen mentioned a few quite important things right now, and I would like to agree with everything that he said, especially for this part, to be able to make trust between institutions and industry, and this is something that is quite important, and those are intersections that we should definitely work on. Yeah, my final words are just get out of the building, meet new people, be open to new ideas, see what's happening around, see what's happening abroad, bring something new to your country, make an impact to your environment, and that's something that will definitely create a value for the broader community.
Thank you, Nevena. Ms. Mudrinić, would you agree with our panelists?
Absolutely. And to not repeat myself, I'll keep it short. Whatever you decide to do, whether it's self-employment or a traditional job or whatever you decide to do, I would just say there's no shortcuts. So do your homework, read the books, go to panels, go to conferences, and see where that takes you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Begićević-Recep, do you have something to add?
Career planning in IT industry can be exciting and challenging, and my advices are first self-assessment, then set clear goals, set clear objectives, continuous learning, networking, stay curious. And also, I think that failures are also learning opportunities.
Thank you. And Professor Sušanj?
Well, I would also like to finish in positive tone. I think that the best thing is that universities are becoming more aware and more responsible, and really taking more and more I would say role in career development of their students. So this is something what makes me happy.
Thank you. And I would finish with two actually thoughts. Here we have the industry representative, the higher education representatives, and I think that the very positive in the IT industry is that we have some kind of consensus, and we are actually open to work together to strengthen this university business cooperation and to be creative in that work, to always look at the needs of young people, of the labor market, and try to find solutions how to overcome all the obstacles and challenges on the labor market and transform them to the opportunities. So that's the message for both industry representatives and higher education institutions to do in the future the same good work, to continue that work. And for young people, especially students, I would conclude that it is important to use opportunities you have when you are a student. What Nina said about failures, if you fail as a student, if you try to join some startup club or have your own project, you won't lose much. As for example, when you go to labor market and you decide immediately you want to be an entrepreneur. We heard that there are a lot of support in career centers and startup academies, and go to hackathons, go to case study competitions, try to elaborate your idea, to share your idea at different conferences and with people from practice, and learn at the end. So because we are all learning, and that's I think most important thing in the IT industry. Thank you, panelists, for this really inspiring and discussion. And I would like to thank to all of the attendees and as well to organizers for this panel.
Thank you for inviting. Bye.
Thank you and bye.